one skill set you could bring to the Wizards day one for us to see how well you are as a prospect moving forward? Thank you.
First of all, what I can bring right away, I think, is the experience. I've been playing pro for 3 years, and I played with a lot of ex-NBA players. I played in the EuroLeague, the second best league in the world, and I had that competition level was very high. So I kind of faced a lot of challenges that got me as a better player. And I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready in skill-wise. I have a lot to work on, definitely to improve. But I think I can have good benefits to the Wizards right away. I think I have a good basketball IQ. I think I'm a great teammate, very unselfish, and I'm a big competitor. I like to win, and I'll do everything for the team. I'll give 100%.
Just one follow-up. I saw last night the piece with you and your dad when you missed the 4 shots in a row, and he said you weren't a shooter. I'm curious to know, is that where your competitive drive comes from, is having a dad like that kind of pushed you?
It's definitely something that I got from my parents, not just my dad. Both my parents are very competitive. And I remember me going back home after losses wasn't easy. Yeah, it was kind of crazy to lose, but I mean, I'm blessed that I had those parents who got me this personality in me, that the competitive spirit and the winner mentality, and it just gave me drive on the court, and it makes me win games and win trophies. So at the end of the day, that's important.
Hey, Denny, nice to meet you. Just wanted to kind of follow up about your parents. Obviously, with your dad being a pro player, what was his role kind of in your basketball career from a young age? Were you always expected to kind of become a basketball player? And when and how did you start playing?
So I started playing soccer at the beginning, and then my dad really convinced me to go to basketball. He didn't really coach me, so he raised me how to be a good off the court, and how to behave with my teammates, and how to be a professional and work hard and never give up. But things on the court, like skill-wise, he got me some tricks here and there that I use in my game, but nothing major. Like, we didn't really get along on the court because of our competitive spirit, and yeah, we just couldn't do it. But he had benefits on me on other ways. So yeah.
What was his reaction last night when you were drafted?
I mean, he was relaxed. He was cool. He has cold blood no matter what I did, and then what goals I achieved in life. But I know deep inside of him, he doesn't show his emotions outside, but deep inside of him, I'm sure he's very proud and he's happy for him. So
cool. Thanks, Denny.
Thank you.
Fred.
Hey, Denny, how you doing?
How you doing?
I would love to know what I mean, we know so much. I've read a bunch about your history playing basketball. What is your history watching and following it? Who are your favorite players to watch? What type of style do you enjoy to watch? What would you say is like your basketball identity preferences?
Listen, I'll be honest with all you. The hours in Israel are different than the United States. So let's say NBA games are usually at 2 a.m. at night, and I couldn't get up and watch. So I didn't follow as much NBA as a kid. I grew up on watching EuroLeague and Maccabi playing. But other than that, as me grew up more, I just watch. I mean, I think only the playoffs. Not really got into deep of watching NBA, but through the years I got more and more NBA time on TV, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a fast-paced league, a lot of great players, a lot of talent, and guys from all over the world bringing their game, and yeah, I'm excited to be a part of it now.
you. Congratulations.
How about you? Thank you.
The first question will be Rick Burnell.
Hey, LaMelo. One thing Kupchak just talked about that I found interesting is he said you shouldn't just think of LaMelo as a point guard. He said in the way that position of this basketball is, considering his height, considering everything else, he said we're going to find ways to blend him. He said maybe play some point forward. He said you should not simply think that there's a crowd of people playing point guard. Could you sort of talk about, considering your combination of skills and size, how you think you fit into a basketball team in general that way?
I feel like I fit anywhere real good, and definitely the point forward, I feel like it could work because it's definitely positionless basketball now. You can just get it and go. So Mitch is definitely saying the right stuff.
He said that the thing they were most excited about is your ability to push it because Borrego has really wanted to increase the pace of this team. You think of yourself as somebody who's really good in transition the way that they described?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I love transition. I would love if the team would get in transition, and I feel like it's going to be fun this year.
Thank you.
The next question will be Matt from Hornets.com.
Hi, LaMelo. Congratulations on becoming part of the Charlotte Hornets. First off, can you just talk to me about how excited you are to play with a young core of guys and Miles Bridges, P.J. Washington, Devontae Graham, this group of guys?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I've been seeing them ever since I was young, for real. Miles at Michigan State and stuff, and Huntington Beach and all that. And then PJ, I played him when he was at Finlay and stuff. It's going to be exciting. I mean, two high flyers can get out and go. And we got a young team. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like it's going to be nice.
Do you feel like this team really kind of fits your style of play of wanting to get up and down the court quite a bit?
Yeah, definitely. I love getting up and down. So if that's play style, that definitely fits.
Hey, LaMelo. JB Ricks here from Spectrum News 1 in North Carolina. Congratulations on being drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. I just have a curious question, with a lot of the mock drafts that were coming into the night, you were projected to go number 1 overall. Was there any surprise at all that you fell to number 3? And what are your thoughts that you fell to an organization like the Charlotte Hornets?
I definitely feel great falling into with them, but the way of falling down, I never looked at it like that because, like I say, whatever happens, happens, and I feel like it's God's plan. So wherever he wanted to put me, that's where he put me, and I feel like he's going to let me blossom there.
And my follow-up to that is you'll be playing for Michael Jordan, who is obviously considered the GOAT, greatest of all time when it comes to the sport of basketball. Your immediate thoughts about playing for him as your owner?
Man, straight blessing, for real. I don't even have enough words to say. I mean, I'm just blessed right now, for real.
All right, thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Next question will be from Dan Wilkie.
Hey, LaMelo. Dan White here with the LA Times again. What's it like? You said yesterday that yesterday was just another day for you. What's it like to be in this moment today to finally hear your name called? And then I guess how excited are you to be an NBA player here in 2 weeks to get into camp and get going?
Definitely excited. I'm just letting it all hit me right now. But like I said, I'm ready to play. So, yeah, I'm definitely ready to come and everything and just ready to lace them up for real.
What was the scene like at the draft party? How many people do you guys have there? What was it like kind of seeing everybody else get excited?
It was beautiful. I mean, we was all downstairs in the room. The whole room was crying. I couldn't even tell you how much people it was. But right when they called my name, everybody was cheering, excited. It was a beautiful scene.
Next question will be from Brendan Marks.
Hi, LaMelo. This is Brendan Marks from The Athletic. Congratulations on the selection and welcome to Charlotte. I'm just curious, you've been a professional before, but Mitch Kupchak just said on his call with the media that, a couple of times he notes how young you are. There's obviously a lot of room for growth, a lot of potential. As far as the youth, how are you preparing yourself to adjust to life in the NBA, the spotlight, all of those things, and how do you feel like your previous experiences have prepared you for that?
Well, you just answered it right there. I mean, I feel like these previous experiences made me who I am today, so it's quite easy for real.
Good evening. Welcome to another week, another episode of the Focus TV. Man, we're happy to be here again. Shout out to Cardell, getting that footage. If you guys missed the draft show last week, I feel bad for you. We had a great time when we tried to watch the draft with you guys in the time that we had allotted. A lot of things happened in the draft. We're going to get to that a little bit later. Octavia's going to kick things off with the NFC East. Cardell's going to provide a Wizards update, which should be interesting considering, the Wizards and the state of news around the team. A little volatile, to say the least. But again, thanks for tuning in to the Focus TV. Octavia, go ahead. What happened in your division this week?
What happened in the division is everybody won and we lost. That's what happened. Keep it short and simple, but no. Yeah, it was another week in the NFC East. A lot of people won this week, though. So, there are slight changes. Nothing crazy, though. I'll go ahead and start with my horrible team. The Philadelphia Eagles played the Cleveland Browns this week, and they fell to the Browns 22-17. I believe they said this was like the first game that they lost to the Browns. And I can't even tell you how many games, but it's been a lot, apparently. Carson West was 21 of 35, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, of course, 2 interceptions, 3 carries for 10 yards. Miles Sanders, 16 carries, 66 yards, 1 fumble, 3 receptions for 15 yards. Dallas Goedert had 5 receptions for 77 yards and 1 touchdown. And Richard Rodgers had 2 receptions, 48 yards for 1 touchdown. Same old, same old. I really wish you guys could see my notes. The very first thing that I have written is "we suck." Exactly. Again, too many turnovers. Went through 2 picks. Sanders fumbled 4 yards from the end zone on what would have been the longest drive of the game for the Eagles. Carson still isn't making good decisions, and many of those decisions have led to interceptions. Appeared to have wide receiver Jalen Reagor wide open. But, of course, he decided to check down to Miles Sanders. Ball came out weird. It was tipped by Denzel Ward, and the ball floated straight towards Taki. That is his last name, who grabbed it and was pick 6. It was easy. So Peterson still will not bench Wentz. That is still where he is currently, although I'm pretty sure every fan in Philadelphia is screaming for it. But in reality, Jalen Hurts still has a lot to learn, and I don't even know if we would want to risk him at this point with his future. But again, the offensive line is a mess. The Browns harassed Wentz all game, finished with 5 sacks, 4 of them coming on 3rd down, 1 of them turning into a safety. Lane Johnson, Jason Peters didn't have a great game either. Olivier Vernon was just moving them out the way again. He had 3 sacks himself. Both Lane and Jason sustained injuries in the game where they left. Jason Kelsey, the center, also was injured his non-hiking arm. It was his elbow, so he did come back in the game with a elbow brace on. The defense held on for as long as they possibly could. They were able to keep the running game of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb under control throughout the most of the first half, but they could only do but so much with offense not clicking at all. Fletcher Cox was able to get a key strip sack, and we recovered the ball, and we were actually able to score with Richard Rodgers on that. And then the only other touchdown came in garbage time at the end of the game. So they have a lot of work to do. It won't get any better next week. They'll be playing the Seahawks on Monday night, which is going to be so embarrassing. I don't know why they did this. Hopefully they will flex it off of your TV on Monday night and give you something better to watch. In other news, the Washington football team played the Cincinnati Bengals this week, and they were victorious 20-9. Alex Smith was 17 of 25, 166 yards, 1 touchdown. 1 interception, and 3 carries for -3 yards. Antonio Gibson, 16 carries, 94 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 reception for 10 yards. McLaurin had 5 receptions for 84 yards, and Steve Sims Jr. had 3 receptions for 13 yards and 1 touchdown. Their offense still is having a little bit of issues, but you can see that their weapons are starting to show a little bit more. Last year, we know that their main weapon was McLaurin, but this year you see that they are starting to have a little bit of more weapons out there on the offensive side. We know what they have on the defensive side. Alex Smith is getting more comfortable with conducting the offense, but of course, it's still a work in progress. Again, with some of these weapons, Cam Sims is a decent number 2. You know, he has youth as his upside right now. Steven Sims is a solid slot receiver for them. Logan Thomas is an above average tight end. And of course, we talked about Antonio Gibson, budding star running back. He's the bright spot for me. I really like Antonio Gibson. If he continues to trend up, I think that they'll have a really good running back in him. But then they do still have J.D. McKissick, who is also pairing well with Antonio Gibson. So it's working out for them. Now, of course, we know a win is a win, especially when it's for the DC team. But many people are speculating, if you have not heard, quarterback Joe Burrow, which was the quarterback on the other team in this game and who was also the number 1 pick in this draft, was injured in this game. He tore his ACL and MCL and will be out for the remaining of the season. They said it's anywhere from 9 to 12 months. Of course, with everything going on, there is a possibility he may not even play next season. They may let him get, ready for 2022, but it really just depends on what transpires as the weeks go on. But the Bengals were in control of this game up until that point. So, again, a win is a win. I always say that you can only play who's in front of you, and that's what the Washington football team did. They played who was in at the time. Unfortunately, Joe Burrow did get hurt, but they were able to pull it out and get that win. So all of this runs down to the Washington football team now being a half game back of the lead in the NFC with a 3-7 record. And they will next have a game this Thursday against the Cowboys. So you will get your Thanksgiving Day game. Rivalry of the Washington football team and the Cowboys. I don't know how much of a rivalry it really is right now. Are we rivaling who's going to be the worst? But we shall see as time goes on. And wrapping it up, we had the Cowboys who did play the Vikings this week, and the Cowboys were victorious as well. Andy Dalton was 22 of 32, 203 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 3 carries for 5 yards. Ezekiel Elliott had 21 carries, 103 yards, 2 receptions for 11 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tony Pollard had 5 carries for 60 yards and 1 touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 4 receptions for 34 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Dalton Schultz, 4 receptions, 25 yards, 1 touchdown. It appears that the choice to start Andy Dalton, who of course is coming off of a 3-week basically hiatus. He was injured in one game with a concussion, followed that up with a COVID test where he was out, and then they had the bye week, so he's been off for 3 weeks. A lot of people were speculating that Gilbert, when he played, earned another start, but obviously Dalton was the better choice at this point. He only made one fatal mistake by throwing an interception that would have killed the game-winning drive, but he did get away with that. Besides that, he had a pretty good game, although with a little bit of help from CeeDee Lamb's incredible touchdown reception, just the way he just contorted his body to be able to catch the ball. Like, that was probably one of the best catches that I've seen this year. And, we've seen a few so far, but CeeDee Lamb is a rookie, and he's a dang on good one. I wish he would have fell to us, but, Jerry Jones is going to take what he can, and CeeDee Lamb was a good grab for them. Ezekiel Elliott had his best game of the season. 103 yards on 21 carries, 4.9 carries per yard. Also, he had a very well executed screenplay that led to the first touchdown in the game. He's he showed himself as the every down back that we expect him to be. But you know, he hasn't really had a lot of long running plays this year, but he did have an 18-yard game this game. So again, this was one of his best games this year so far. Also, their offensive line had one of their best games this season, only allowing one sack and plenty of gaps for the running game. Again, Ezekiel Elliott had a great running game, but so did Tony Pollard. So they were able to move the ball. The one Achilles heel would have been their defense. I believe it was kind of hot and cold. They had good portions and they had bad portions. Credit Donovan Wilson for forcing 2 fumbles that equaled into 9 points for them. Strip sack and, you know, just being able to be there. And he may get beat. He's a little bit small, but he hits pretty hard and he's able to dislodge the ball from players as he did on Dalvin Cook. So that was a good side. Their secondary is still a little bit suspect right now. They got thrashed by Cousins, who threw for over 300 yards. Adam Thielen had a day. Justin Jefferson as well. But they were victorious. They were able to pull it out at the end of the game with the field goal. So, again, you know, this puts them in a good spot as well. They are second in the division, I believe, now. I have to double check. I apologize. But only with a tiebreaker with us because we beat them, but we have to play them again. They do have to play everybody else in the division again. But again, the Cowboys do have the easiest path just because they have the easiest schedule remaining. You know, they only have maybe 1 or 2 teams to worry about. You know, they have to play the Ravens again. Not again, but they'll have to play the Ravens. But the Ravens will be apparently coming off of a game with the Steelers, but if you don't know, the Ravens have more than 9 players or player personnel who tested positive for COVID. So their game on Thursday is technically still on, but it is in jeopardy if there are more positive tests. So who knows if they'll have to reschedule that game. And you never know, you're giving the Ravens a good break if their game gets canceled or rescheduled for them to prepare for the Cowboys. But again, they have the path of least resistance. So it's looking good for them, but again, we're still in the NFC East, and you never know what's going to happen. I don't even think they're going to know what's going to happen.
Nah, nobody does what y'all's doing, as always.
I don't think anybody in the entire world knows.
Every year.
Nobody knows.
If you were a gambler, I'm sure Vegas is fun for you or horrible for you if you're an NFC East person. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's on you.
I would say it's horrible because I feel like everybody in our division's fans, like we feel like it's going to get better even though we know it's not, but we won't really say it. You know, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I talk about Carson every week, but I have faith every Thursday to Sunday that it's going to be okay. And then Sunday gets here and I'm sitting watching this game like, what is happening? So, again, I'm over it, you know, but I feel like Monday at like 6 p.m., I'm going to be like, we can win this game. Even though I know we
I respect y'all optimism. Y'all very optimistic.
We'll have no choice. It's like, how much worse can it get? If it does, it's like, well, it's just us. We know. I mean,
it can always.
Nobody has.
It can always.
We have 2 wins outside of the division, like as a whole. Like as a whole, we've only beat 2 other teams outside of the NFC East. As a
it makes you
whole,
feel
like not one team, like all 4 of us. It's bad. But again, somebody will be an NFC East champion and make it to the playoffs.
Can't wait for when you guys host playoffs. It's going to be incredible. Watching a team like 6 games under 500 host the playoff game. Shout out to the NFL. But what we're going to do is take a quick break. When we get back, Cardell's going to give us, just fill us in on what's the latest with your Washington Wizards. You watch the Focus TV. We will be right back.
No comment.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, Cardell, what's going on with the Washington Wizards, sir?
Oh man, kind of update you all. Obviously, John had his his community service that he always does around this time where he gives back, help less fortunate people around the area, and definitely specifically in DC as far as, giving Thanksgiving meals, clothes, anything to try to make their lives better than what it is. So obviously during that, it was a presser, and the reporters ain't waste no time. They got right to it. Asked him, did he make that trade demand, which he answered no comment. He did slip up, say I didn't, but he remained firm in what he was saying, no comment. The previous day, Tommy Shepard had a presser that we all joined. Same question was posed to him, and he said John didn't request it. He had actually watched John work out early Monday, and he said him and Wall have always been on the same page. Tommy Shepard's relationship with players is based on straight line communication. There was no issue with John and I, and there's no issue with John and the Wizards. And that's pretty much what he said as far as that goes. Take it for what you will. It's kind of sloppy that something like that would leak out during this, during that period as far as free agency and the draft, and then, the touchy time with the Wizards and stuff with him trying to come back. I have my thoughts on it, but that'll be discussed on off wax. But regardless, he's a Wizard from right now, and people should look forward to that unless something major come down the pipeline. Because obviously, with his contract, him coming off the injury he has, and then trying to get somebody back across the league that is his caliber, honestly, it is not. I don't think it's realistic right now. So just we're gonna see what happens when the season starts. Tommy Shepard also said we expect to win more this year, but he's looking for improvement on defense. He said it's encouraging that they signed Robin Lopez to kind of be the muscle in the middle, kind of do the dirty work and all that stuff, along with Thomas Bryant. He saw all the players that they drafted came from defensive-minded programs. Definitely Cassius Winston. We all know how Izzo get down. You know what I mean? So even though Winston's defense, has been nitpicked. He knows how to play defense. Let's just say he's been taught. It's just a matter of, applying it and the want to. They asked him again, did a rumor linking out that John Wall wanted to be traded frustrate Tommy, and Tommy Shepard said, I've been doing this for 27 years, so no, it didn't frustrate me. He said it's trade rumors every year. He said, I'm used to it, and the players are used to it. He said with John returning, what we did through the draft and free agency, we're going to be a much better team. Now, obviously, Brad Beal is pretty much traded throughout the season. It seems like every year, especially according to some teams on the West Coast and their fans. But, it's just part of the business. But, like I said, the timing is what kind of shook everybody up as far as, with the free agency or whatnot. So, Tommy, once again, just putting into the bed that, it didn't really bother him. He said he tried not to even listen to the noise. Obviously signing Robert Lopez, there were questions on who will be the starting center. Tommy Shepard reiterated that Thomas Bryant will be the starting center. And he also reiterated it's just not rim protection that needs to improve. He said the goal is to keep opponents out of the paint in the first place, so the bigs don't have to protect them around. It's being better defensively as a unit all over the court, pretty much this season. And that's what they're kind of focusing on. They know offensively they can score the ball, but defensively they got to turn it up. We was in the studio, me, Raymond, and Wilson. It was tough to watch. It was really tough to watch. It was just a shootout. You score, I score. So you're not going to win too much in the NBA doing that. He said he felt Robin Lopez can bring a lot of what Nene had brought to the team a few years ago. Like I said, dirty work, being a muscle inside, rebounding, not letting people just get easy layups, making, as John Thompson would say, making guys feel some little affection, hitting them, so they know you're there at least. So, it's going to be interesting to see once training camp open back up. Speaking on training camp, Tommy did say that would be the first time Wall and Bill had played with each other since Wall went down. So that's pretty, you might as well say, a year or so, year plus, honestly. So he's been out pretty much 2 years, except for a little bit where he played a couple of years ago. So it's been a long time. So they got to rebuild that chemistry and get ready for the season, obviously. And, they say they will be monitoring John Wall's minutes. He said if you leave to John, he would play every game at 40 minutes a game. But he said that would be silly to do. We have to manage things in a smart way. That's our responsibility to preserve John's career. And we have to learn from the past. We kind of let him tell us, but he's a competitor. And sometimes you got to save the competitor from themselves. So that's all that Tony kind of harped on, man. It's getting close to training camp time. They got to finish signing, obviously the rookies and free agents that they did, that they brought in. And, we're going to see what happens on the floor, man. It's about that time where all the talking need to stop. And I'm just enthusiastic to see where things are headed once things begin with everybody healthy. They have made some roster improvements, but, you got to build that chemistry. And we'll see you real soon because December is knocking. So, stay tuned.
And that goes for every team around the league, all the talk and all the excitement. Man, December 22nd is really not that far away. It's how this year's been flying. It's really not. Feels like the bubble was like a couple days ago, and December's already here. Like, it's crazy. But again, what we have ahead, we got NBA draft grades coming up, so we're gonna go through that, share our thoughts with you guys. We have time for free agency news, and we got a couple more NBA draft night videos for you guys for media sessions to end tonight. But no show of ours is complete without the 9-4-50 breakdown. So again, thanks to Jamal Hayward this week on the 9-4-50 breakdown. He will break down how to read defenders when using a down screen. Break down how to read defenders when using a down screen. And we'll see you guys after the break.
What we're doing, Noah's guarding me here. I'm coming up here. I come up here, I pop out. Now, remember, I got to initiate the contact with Noah to get him off of me. Then I break here. Pass, okay? Shot. That's the first time. Now, let's just say if Noah decides to overplay, I'm here, I fade. Okay? Shot. Now, here's another option. If Noah wants to really overplay and jump all the way up, jumps all the way up, I can come back here, back door, layup, okay? Or if he does the same thing here, go back door, keep going, then I can pop this side, okay? Multiple options, but you gotta stay on the move, okay? So, defender, it's your choice to play him however you want to. Offensive player, you gotta make a read. So if Noah's guarding you, if Noah wants to jump it, you gotta read it. To go back door or fade, okay? Offensive player. Defender makes the choice. Jacks you up. What we're doing, Noah's guarding me here. I'm coming up here. I come up here. I pop out. Now, remember, I gotta initiate the contact with Noah to get him off of me. Then I break here. Pass, okay? Shot. That's the first time. Now, let's just say if Noah decides to overplay, I'm here, I fade. Okay? Shot. Now, here's another option. If Noah wants to really overplay and jump all the way up, jumps all the way up, I can come back here, back door, layup, okay? Or if he does the same thing here, go back door, keep going, then I can pop this side, okay? Multiple options, but you gotta stay on the move, okay? So, defender, it's your choice to play him however you want to. Offensive player, you gotta make a read. So if Noah's guarding you, if Noah wants to jump it, you gotta read it. To go back door or fade, okay? Offensive player. Defender makes the choice. Jacks you up.
Welcome back to the Focus TV again. Special thanks to Jamal Hayward for knocking out the 9-4 breakdown once again. All right, Octavia, you have the wheel and the draft grades.
Yes, yes. Of course, the NBA draft was a huge deal. It happened really quickly this year with the offseason. So we're going to get into some of the draft grades. And we're just going to go alphabetical order and start from the top. So what is your draft grade for the Atlanta Hawks, Wilson?
All right. I gave them a C just because for me the picture is kind of incomplete in terms of how loaded the front court is. I did like that they infused some folks who are willing to defend because I got quite a few people who are not capable of that yet.
Cool. Cardell?
I'm gonna give them a B. I like what they did with getting a Congo because what they may not know what's gonna happen with Collins. He's coming up on a contract extension, and they gonna need somebody to fill that void if he decides to leave. And if he stays, all that is more depth, which you need in the NBA all of a sudden in the front court. So I feel like they did a good job making sure they strengthen their front line. And Skylar Mays, he's a capable shooter and a solid athlete. That was a good pickup in the second round.
All right. Raymond?
Yeah, I gave him a B as well. It never hurts to pick up maybe one of the best interior defenders that was available in the draft. And then I feel like Skylar Mays was a good value pick in the second round, just with his shooting, his ability to spread the floor.
Cool. So we're going to move on to the next team, which is the Boston Celtics. Let's run it backwards. Raymond, what do you give them on their draft?
I gave the Celtics an A. They probably got the best shooter in the draft, and Aaron Nesmith. And then picking up Peyton Pritchard was, I think that's a solid pickup for them. He won't be expected to come in and carry the whole load immediately. He can, just sit back and kind of learn from Kemba. And when he does get his opportunities, he should be well prepared.
All right, Cardell.
Yeah, I gave him an A+. They needed shooting on the perimeter to kind of take the pressure off Tatum and Brown. They got that in Nesmith and Peyton Pritchard. Honestly, I felt like was he was a steal for what he fell to. He would basically help Kemba survive. He don't got to kill himself to run the show a lot. He would take a lot of pressure off Kemba, and he would make things easier for Tatum and Brown where they don't have to be on the ball so much. Just catch, either drive or shoot. Make life better for them. And defensively, he brings a lot. So I love those pickups.
All right, Wilson.
I gave them a B+. Got to piggyback off what both Cardell and Ray said. What Nesmith is there for. Can't ever knock that in this league right now. And the value in getting Pritchard right there is huge, especially considering the fact that they lost Brad Wanamaker.
All right, next up we have the Brooklyn Nets. We'll go ahead and go to Cardell.
I gave him a B+. They need a little bit in their front line. I ain't gonna say a lot because you got KD there. He can obviously play every position, but just improving that with Reggie Perry was good. Just especially when you only had one pick. So I like that. B+.
All right, Wilson.
I gave him a C+. I like Reggie Perry providing depth, and during the draft they traded for Landry Shamet as well.
All right, Ray.
I gave him a C. I mean, they just had the one pick at 55, and Reggie Perry is a good addition for what they need. So it's hard to make fireworks at that stage in the draft, but they did get a solid guy.
Cool. All right, after the Brooklyn Nets, number 1. I'm sorry, not number 1 pick. That the number 3 pick, Charlotte Hornets. Wilson, Charlotte Hornets.
All right.
What do you say?
I gave them a B. I like them getting LaMelo. I really like them adding Vernon Carey. They got Nick Richards and Grant Riller as well. LaMelo should be a good fit. Like, we still have Devontae Graham. We saw what they did in free agency, getting Gordon Hayward. And again, like, I'm really high on Kerry because they needed some more depth in their front court. You added PJ last year, they lost a couple guys through free agency in their front court as well.
All right, Raymond, Charlotte Hornets.
I also gave them a B. LaMelo was the obvious pick at 3, but I like their second round picks as well. Vernon Kerry, just a nice touch around the rim, got an NBA frame. Nick Richards, he's versatile and athletic big, and then Grant Riller's just a flat out scorer. So I think they did they did a good job of kind of infusing some talent there in spaces that they needed, but just a lot, to be perfectly honest.
Cool. All right, Cardell.
Yeah, I gave them an A. They needed some type of versatility. They need a wing player that can do a lot of things. They haven't really had that. They thought Batum was that, but he was a lemon. No disrespect, but it is what it is. So LaMelo Ball fills those needs. Then you got Vernon Carey. He's a technician on the block. I love him at Duke. I honestly felt like he should have won in the first round, but it is what it is. That's somebody that they could literally should be able to give him a double-double right away. I like PJ, but PJ is undersized big, so he will be limited, when they throw footers at him constantly or whatnot. Then he got to kind of take him outside, which takes him out of the paint. You need somebody that can get easy buckets on the block. Nick Richards going to do the dirty work, run up and down the floor, block shots, rebounds, catch lobs, set good screens to get Graham and all those guys open. Grant Riller, hey, same thing with Graham, and them get open, knock down shots. So it's an A for me.
All right, following up behind that, we have the Chicago Bulls. Ray, Chicago Bulls, what do you give?
I gave the Bulls a D. I mean, no disrespect to Patrick Williams, but they took a reserve player at number 4 that really doesn't necessarily address their most glaring needs. So I don't think that was the best way to go for them.
All right, Cardell.
Yeah, C+. The jury is definitely out on Patrick Williams. Not to say he wasn't talented, not to say he isn't talented, but they didn't. The front court wasn't where they really needed a lot of help at. Honestly, with Markkanen and Wendell Carter. So they needed more definite. As far as the 3 and on the perimeter. So we're gonna see. But definitely a C+. Maybe he proves us wrong.
All right, Wilson.
Yeah, I was with Ray. I gave him a D. And it's not because of him. I just really, really didn't like the fit because of both what Cardell and Ray already mentioned in terms of other things that they needed. But like Cardell said, we will see what happens.
All right. Next up, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cardell, Cleveland.
Oh man, they need so much. But I like Okoro. I like Okoro, so I gave him a B. The way he can defend, as athletic as he is, his wingspan, the way he can score. I don't think he was really let loose at Auburn. Not saying he should have been. They had a lot of pieces around him, but I think he has one of those games that would be even better in the league. And they need a dynamic, explosive wing to go with their backcourt. You know what I mean? So I like the fit. I like his opportunities. Just up to him to, prove them right for picking them that high.
All right, Wilson.
It's about for the Cavs, right? C+.
Yep.
I definitely like Okoro. Feel like he fits a need, and someone over there is going to have to want to play defense on the wing.
All right, finish it up with Ray.
Yeah, I gave them a C. Just snatching up Okoro, one of the best perimeter defenders in the draft, if not the best. I mean, that's always a good way to go. It might have been kind of high for him, but he, like Cardell said, it's kind of a question mark because we always see guys that kind of open things up in the NBA, and who knows, he could be one of them. So he gave him a middle of the road grade.
All right. Next up, we have the Dallas Mavericks. Wilson.
All right, for the Mavs, I gave him a B, but it was kind of mostly because of the trades during the draft. They got Josh Richardson, and then they were able to get Tyler Bay, and then Green and Terry add some more depth for Dallas.
All right, Raymond.
I gave him a B. I like Josh Green. He's a dynamic, athletic guy who can score. And then I feel like Tyrell Terry, they got a first-round talent in the second round. So, yeah, kudos to them.
All right, and Cardell?
Yeah, I'm not even going to delay a B for the exact same reasons Raymond said.
All right. So after the Dallas Mavericks, we have the Denver Nuggets. Everybody remembers their playoff run. So Wilson, what did you give for Denver?
I gave them a B. They kind of did that thing where a high-ranked prospect ended up dropping. They get R.J. Hampton, and then I know I'm going to mess the young man's name up, but Zeke Naji, another 7-footer with the ability to space the floor. I kind of trust the Nuggets with what they do in most things. I'm not going to be the one to, tell them they did wrong.
All right, Cardell.
Same B. Zeke Naji. The thing I like about the Nuggets, they're already deep. So you won't be counting on Zeke Naji and RJ Hampton to come in and save the world right now. But they will be going against some lethal players from the jump, which means they will develop. So if some of these players decide to leave in free agency for a bigger contract or more playing time or something like you just saw with Jeremy Grant, they will be ready to go. That's why the Denver Nuggets are on the verge of possibly winning an NBA championship. They develop and draft well. And I don't see no reason why these two can't do the same thing.
Raymond?
Yeah, I gave them a B as well. They just made good, smart picks with a solid nucleus already in place.
All right. So after Denver, we have the Detroit Pistons. I'll go back to you, Ray. What did you give the Pistons?
I gave Detroit an A. They addressed one of their biggest needs at point guard, and then they got an absolute steal at 19 with Sadiq Bey.
Wilson?
Yeah, I gave him an A. I thought Troy Weaver did a great job working the boards and the phones with some of the vets that he brought in. Like Ray just said, Sadiq Bey's nice find. Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes, Saban Lee. You added Ariza, Magruder, Tony Bradley via trade. Like it was just a good haul for the Pistons.
All right, Cardell.
A minus, and that's only because Killian Hayes, we haven't seen much of him. Obviously at a high level, let's just say that. So, but he does have talent. Isaiah Stewart, I think he'll be a double-double machine eventually, if not right away. And Sadiq Bey, he's exactly what's dominating the league right now, one of those 3-and-D players. So, and he can't put it on the floor. Just at Villanova, he wasn't required to. So, yeah, definitely A minus.
All right, next up, Golden State Warriors, who took a devastating blow. Klay Thompson will be out again this year with an Achilles injury. Cardell, Golden State.
Oh, A+. Yeah. James Wiseman. Yeah, that changes everything. I know Klay out. Prayers up to him. But I've been on record. James Wiseman, David Robinson Jr. You know what I mean? With his size and athleticism all the way down to being a lefty. If he can come in and just score a few more points to kind of offset what happens with Klay, come in about 15 to 10. Hey, man, they in the mix still. And I like Nico Mannion, you know what I mean? The way he's kind of in that mode of the Stephen Clays, man, being able to break people down off the bounce or shoot the hell out the ball. But he fits right in with what they're going to do. So I love their draft picks. And get Newberry free agency, that was big.
Wilson.
Yeah, same thing here, man. Nothing much to add. They got the dude if he was allowed to play a full college season. People would have been fighting to get the first pick, and they got him at 2. Cardell named the reasons already. And I like Nico.
All right. All right, Ray?
Yeah, man. I gave him an A. Ditto to Cardell and Wilson. I mean, it's not too much to talk about it.
All right, Houston Rockets. They got a lot going on in their camp. Who will stay? Who'll go? But these people that they just picked up in the lottery. Ray, how you feel they did?
I'm going to give them an incomplete.
Yes,
You know,
the
I mean, yeah, yeah, man. I'm going to give them some time to make up some assignments.
Yeah, they got to go back to the drawing board. Okay, I feel you. Wilson, Houston Rockets.
D minus. I don't know what they're doing.
They don't know
Ray's
what they're
a really
doing
good teacher. Ray's a great teacher, and he believes in the kid. He believes in the student.
He grades on the curve. He grades on the curve.
My curve is the minus.
All right, Cardell.
Man, the Rockets gonna need summer school, and it ain't looking good, dog. Just being real. And they can't make up enough assignments with me. But
I gotta stay.
Kenyon Martin Jr. Yeah, might have to repeat. Kenyon Martin Jr. He has his pops athleticism, no doubt, but he has some work to do to stick in the league, and that's just being real. I felt like college would have been great for him to season up his game to match the athleticism. But who knows, man? He might get an opportunity and do his thing, man. But yeah, with everything else that's going on in free agency, man, yeah, they got to repeat the grade. Like I said, this ain't. I don't even have a grade. Just come back. Just come back.
Just try again later. Yeah. All right, Indiana Pacers. They had an interesting run this past season as well. Ray, Indiana Pacers.
Man, I gave them an A. It's probably a biased pick just because I really like Cassius Stanley. I think he's going to blossom at the NBA level. And then where they got him, it was pretty much nothing to lose at that point. Great value pick at that junction. He's got tremendous upside.
All right, Cardell.
Yeah, I gave him a B. Some of them reasons to Raymond. Cassius Stanley, I feel like he got drafted way lower than his talent. Should have probably had him. He's athletic and he can shoot the three. He defended. He's 6'6". Not really sure why he dropped that low, but hey, it is what it is. So, and he'll get ample opportunity to prove what he is, what his talent is.
All right, Wilson.
Yeah, y'all can grade it on the curve. I had a C+, but pretty much for the reasons that they did. It was great value in the pick. And there was a couple folks that slid in this draft where I don't know why, but no. Okay.
All right, let's move along to the Los Angeles Clippers. We know they had a lot of people coming in and out as well through free agency. Cardell?
I gave him a B. I think behind the scenes they probably knew things wasn't going to go with Herrera. So they drafted center just in case of Daniel Otero, who comes in with a lot more skill than Herrera. The question is, will he be mobile enough to guard on the perimeter doing pick and rolls? You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I'm looking at him. But outside of that, they've been doing a good job in the free agency, especially getting Ibaka. That really changed things.
All right, Wilson.
Yeah, I gave them a B. And as they had a second round pick heading into the draft. You leave with Luke Kennard, Daniel Turu, and I know they drafted Jay Scrub, but like Cardell said, you walked away with Ibaka after what you lost. So I'm not mad at it at all.
All right, Ray.
Yeah, I gave him a B. I like the Toro pick. Solid skill set on the perimeter offensively for a big man. Like Cardell said, his mobility defensively is going to be a question mark, but I still feel like he was drafted lower than what his talent would suggest.
All right, Los Angeles Lakers, your reigning champions. How did they do, Wilson?
I gave them a B plus. They turned the 28th pick in the Dennis Schroeder. I'm not mad at it. Give them credit for what they're able to do.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, they flipped it. What they normally do. I gave them a B. It's yeah, they did a good haul for what they had. I mean, it's not like they were gonna expect a rookie to come in and get a lot of minutes anyway.
All right, Cardell.
B. They lost Rondo, but yeah, they got Schroeder. Traded their pick and got Schroeder, so got a veteran. They got a veteran point guard that's younger. That can kind of run more a little bit. So, we give them a B.
All right, Memphis Grizzlies. Right. What do you think they should be graded as?
I gave them a B. I like Desmond Bane. Strong, athletic guy. He can shoot. He's comfortable with the ball in his hands as well. And Xavier Tillman's a versatile defender, and he's got a complete package offensively.
All right, Cardell.
Yeah, B plus. Desmond Bane, he's athletic, but he can shoot the hell out of the ball. He shot 43% from three last year. And if Maryland being in the Big Ten, you couldn't miss Michigan State. So Xavier Tillman, he's a grown man. You know what I mean? So he's more than ready to go to work in the NBA right away.
All right, Wilson.
Yeah, I feel like they got two dudes who just scream like the Grizzlies identity. And they instantly provide depth and, immediate depth at that. I definitely like their draft.
All right. Next up, we got the Miami Heat. Go back to you, Wilson.
Same thing. Preston that you were just, again, feels like a Miami Heat player. Providing some depth we saw in the playoffs, when, the Heat were a little small in the front court at times. Bam got banged up and they didn't really have anything really behind them with some size and athleticism. Some of the size they had wasn't exactly the most mobile human beings in the world. I thought it was a good pick.
All right, Cardell.
Oh yeah, they basically got a Bam clone. You know what I mean? So you got to possibly deal with two of them in the future. So it's the A for me.
All right, Ray.
Yeah, I gave them an A for the exact reason Cardell Wilson said. Achua fits them perfectly. He's gonna just slide right into that Miami Heat culture, and like Cardell said, he's Bam Jr. And I feel like they both gonna complement each other well.
So we got Bam and Bam Bam Jr. I like it. Next up, Milwaukee Bucks. I'll go back to you, Ray. What do you say on the Milwaukee Bucks?
I gave them a C. I mean, they just needed some shooting, and they got the best they could get at where they drafted.
Wilson?
Same. Literally word for word, same. The only caveat I had was adding shooters around Giannis is never a bad thing. A slight difference from Ray.
Cardell.
I'm gonna go B. I think Nawara and Merrill can shoot, but Nawara's also athletic as hell. So I think he's also gonna help on defense and whatnot if they can work themselves into the rotation because the Bucks came up, some pieces for them. So they have opportunity though. But what they bring in, it was a good drive.
All right, next up we got Minnesota Timberwolves. Ray.
I gave them a C. Of course, they got Anthony Edwards at number one. He was going number 3 at worst. So that's a good haul. But their other picks, they got a draft and stash guy, and then McDaniels. He was just kind of up and down in his last year in college. So they pretty much averaged out.
Cardell.
See, Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, their talent speaks for itself. It's not about that. I just question if they're going to be focused enough to really make the impact that's needed to help Minnesota can get back on track and back when Garnett and all those guys were there. If they focus, this could easily be an A. But they come in with the up and down stuff that they bring, no matter how talented they are, it's gonna be average.
Wilson?
For those exact reasons that those two gentlemen mentioned, I gave them a B.
All right, New Orleans Pelicans, they got a lot going on out there too with new players. Cardell?
I like Kyra Lewis. That I like the pick up, like the draft pick, because Lonzo is still kind of up and down. You know what I mean? And you're not quite sure if he's the answer at that point guard position. So, you got somebody to kind of push him. You know what I mean? So if he's not ready, they're going to kind of push him out the mix and, let him go. It's getting to that time where he got to show and prove if he was, that he deserved to be number 2. So I give him a B.
Wilson?
Yeah, I gave him a B. I like the depth Lewis provides, and it's like a depth with an option to keep him later, like you said. You can play behind Lonzo, you can play him with Lonzo, and if Lonzo's not the guy, he will be there post Lonzo. So, good selection.
All right, Ray?
Yeah, I actually gave him an A, but my reasoning was identical to Cardell Wilson's. Lonzo, I just think he's better with somebody at his heels. Like when he got benched last year, and then when he got back into the starting lineup, he played well. So I think this will light a fire under him. And if he doesn't respond, then Lewis, I think, is capable to step in.
All right, next up, New York Knicks. Cardell.
A-, man. I love Obi Toppin. I love him, man. To me, they keep comparing him to Amari for some reason, but he's more Sean Marion to me. Even though he's a little bit bigger with the explosiveness, the versatility. I mean, he could be a 20 and 10 guy off the bat, shooting wise and all that. And then Emmanuel Quickly, local guy from up in Baltimore, John Carroll, the way he could score the ball and how he improved last year from his freshman year, it just shows that he's a worker and, he's ready to make an impact. And obviously, I think both of them kind of being in the spotlight, I don't think the New York lights will phase them. Obi was the man last year in college, and Emmanuel Quickly was at Kentucky. Enough said.
Wilson?
Yeah, I gave him a B+. They almost made me want to come back. I won't. I know better. But I gave him a B+. Obi's back quickly as well. I like Obi because they add some flexibility to like a pretty rigid front court. Like their front court, there's not a lot of people that can move up and down the lineup. Obi gives them that. Like for the reasons Cardell just mentioned with the comp, gives you somebody could again slide. He has the most flexibility of the rest of their front court players outside of maybe Kevin Knox, depending on where you put him. But also, it's not a bad thing to have something like that to come watch in New York, because there really hasn't been anything to watch. The Knicks haven't given anyone any reason to watch at all. So yeah, B+.
Yeah. All right, Ray?
Yeah, man, I gave him an A, Obi Toppin. I like his game a lot. And then with Quickly, at worst, I feel like he's going to give you some instant offense off the bench. And like Cardell said, how people talk about, playing under the bright lights of New York. I don't think it'll affect either one of them. I think they're used to it. Of course, they haven't experienced it at that level yet, but it's not going to be a complete culture shock to them, to have that type of spotlight and focus.
All right. Oklahoma City Thunder. They got a lot going on too. People coming in and out. Wilson. OKC.
I gave him a C+ just because, Raymond threw out the incomplete earlier. They're always acquiring assets, so it's like they're always in a perpetual state of motion, and you don't know what's coming in, what's going out, and then you kind of got to wait to see what they eventually all this stuff turns into. Alesky should be a fun partner for Shai offensively. They added Al Horford. Yes, I gave him a C+.
Right.
I actually gave him a D. I think Pokusevski at 17 was, I don't know, man. I think they could have got something better at that stage.
All right, Cardell.
It's a C for now, but it got the potential to be an A. Alexi has some of the same talents and skills that Chet Holmgren, who's the top prospect in the senior class, is, and he's projected to be the number one pick in a couple years. You know what I mean? So I think that's what OKC sees too. They're looking kind of down the road a couple years as he gets stronger or whatnot. But he has some of the same skill and the same size. So if he can kind of emerge in that mode or whatnot, yeah, they got a hell of a pick. They got a possible equivalent of a number one pick with the 17th pick. So I'm gonna give it a C for right now.
All right, next up we got Orlando Magic. Ray.
Yeah, I gave him a C. Cole Anthony, he's elite athlete, high motor. We can't question his heart. He got hurt last year, but then was determined to come back. When we saw a lot of players just kind of, pack it in, especially a one and done guy. So yeah, I like the pick.
Cardell.
Yeah, I like a B plus. I like the pick. He always been a dog. And he always been competitive. So I think he's a perfect fit for with the head coach in Orlando. I forget his name right now. Is trying to build because he's a competitive type of coach, intense type of coach. I think Anthony. A lot of people criticize him in North Carolina, but I think he's one of those players also that has a game tailor made for the NBA. I think when he gets it right, people will see that.
Philadelphia 76ers. New coach, new players. Ray. 76ers.
I gave him an A, man. I like all their picks. Tyrese Maxey, and he can score and he can play alongside Ben Simmons, and he can run the team when Simmons is off the floor. Isaiah Joe, he's a knockdown shooter. They definitely needed that last season. And Paul Reed, I feel like he could have won in the first round and nobody would have questioned it.
Wilson?
All right. I was just throwing my Magic grade real quick. Cole Anthony gave him a B for the reasons both of them said. Steve Clifford, Cardell, like Cardell was saying, he's going to stick both of them uber athletic guards on folks and let them just bother the heck out of them because that's what Orlando likes to do. And they're going to get a chance. He's going to get a chance to play downhill. They let go of DJ Augustine, so it's an opportunity for him to fill in that regard. And he can also play with Markelle at times. Like Ray said with the 76ers, Daryl Morey's been killing it since he's taken over.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been much I don't like at this point.
Cardell?
Yeah. Hey, Tyrese Maxey, gives you some good scoring possibly off the bench. Isaiah Joe, he kind of replaces what they thought they had in Zaire Smith, athletic wing. And Paul Reed, they sleeping on him, 6'9". I mean, he averaged 23 and 12 in the Big East tournament last year, you know what I mean? So he's a dog, you know what I mean? He can play. And, the limited minutes they get, I think they produce.
All right, next we got the Phoenix Suns. Of course, we all know CP3 is newly acquired out there. Wilson, what do you say about the Phoenix Suns?
I gave them a B plus. Just like we talked about Morey, the Suns have been eating too. I think Jalen Smith is a really great fit. I'm a guy play with either of the big men they have in Ayton and Saric, and a large part of this is, I'd probably have a different grade if Chris Paul wasn't the point guard, but Chris Paul is there, so B plus.
Cardell?
Oh, hey, with Chris Paul there, he has every type of big he needs. I know they kind of excited with the pairing in the backcourt with Booker, but I'm more excited about what he's going to do for Ayton. Ayton is a more skilled DeAndre Jordan. So you saw what he did with DeAndre Jordan. He made him an all-star. So, and I think Jalen Smith complements what Ayton does, being able and can work well with Booker or Chris Paul, being able to stop him. Set a pick and pop, screen and roll. I think he got ice on a block by himself. I know he's nasty in the high post, just turning and shooting. But yeah, Monty Williams, yeah, he gonna be in his bag with Jalen for sure.
Right?
Yeah, I gave them a B. Adding CP3 kind of changes everything for them. And, Jalen Smith, he's got limitless potential. And I think, like Cardell said, him and Aiden are going to complement each other. And they're going to function really well together. But they 10 might have been a little high for him, but, I'm good with it either way.
All right, next. My new favorite team, guys, Portland Trailblazers.
Oh my God.
I'll start with Wilson with this eye roll that I can't get out of my Wilson.
Right. I wanted to do what Cardell did. Log out. All right. Whether it was intentional or not. Most of the work was done via trade before the draft. And clearly they tried to address a need here. They have an issue on the wing, and they're going to keep gathering as many wings as they can until they plug the hole, the several holes they have on the perimeter on their roster. So I gave them a C, but again, they acquired Cove, so most of their work was done before the draft.
Right.
I gave them a C as well. The Covington move was good, and then as far as the draft goes, like teams in the position they're in, it's hard to mess it up, and it's hard to greatly improve your team. But CJ Elliott, he can score the ball, so at that point, you just take the highest guy on your board.
Cardell, are you coming back?
Nah, just go ahead. If you come back on, we got it. See what you did mentioning that? It's all your fault. Blame you.
Next up. All right, next, Sacramento Kings. Wilson.
I gave them a B+. I think Halliburton was a great pick at that spot. You get Woodard and Ramsey. They should help add more talent to that roster. They also acquired a couple of picks. And Halliburton's going to be somebody that can play with both D-Fox and Hield and or Hield if they find someone to take him or not. Quick update, they lost Bogdanovich. They did not match his contract, so he's officially a member of the Hawks. Yeah.
All right, Ray.
I gave him an A. I really like Halliburton. He was basically gifted to them at 12. And, I like their other picks as well. Woodard and Ramsey, they both solid guys to get in the second round.
All right, next up, San Antonio Spurs. We know how well they develop players. We'll go back to you, Wilson. Spurs.
Yeah, Vassell and Jones. Nothing flashy at all, but in true Spurs fashion, guys that should be able to contribute early. And in a crazy year like this, that's not a bad thing at all.
Yep. Right?
Gave them an A. They needed shooting and defense, and they got both of those in both of the players they drafted.
All right. Next up, Toronto Raptors. They've lost big man Gasol. We talked about Ibaka being gone as well. Wilson?
I gave them a C+. Like I said with the Spurs picks, not flashy selections, but all four people, have gone to places with a good culture and places that can identify talent and develop players. So like with the Raptors, it's not about whatever grade we might have today. We got to look like maybe a year or two from now because they find a way to, look at what they did with Chris Boucher, Pascal Siakam. We can go on forever with how well they develop players.
All right.
I gave them a B. For the same reason as what Wilson said. They're going to get guys that fit what they try to do on the court.
All right, next up, Utah Jazz. Go straight to you, Wilson.
All right. I know they took Azubuike and they lost Tony Bradley, to keep that in mind. So it's going to provide some depth behind Gobert. Hughes adds wing depth. I gave him a B, just a solid draft.
Cardell's back. Hey.
Got that cricket internet service.
I thought me talking about the Trailblazers just made you want to leave. I'm sorry. We're currently on the Utah Jazz though, so what you got for the Jazz?
A B minus. Like the draft pick with Udoka. They need somebody to kind of spell Gobert because, as you notice, when he goes out the game, teams get very excited and they start attacking the rim. So they need somebody physical and who's not afraid to mix it up inside and block shots.
All right, Ray.
I gave them a C, pretty much for the same reasons. Cardell, they got somebody to relieve Rudy, and Udoka, he's probably the most physically imposing player in the draft.
All right, Wilson.
Oh, I answered for the Jazz.
Okay, my bad. I wasn't sure. Cardell came back to me off. All right, last but certainly not least, your hometown Washington Wizards. Go ahead, Wilson.
I gave him a B plus. Denny probably shouldn't have been there at 9. I'm sure that probably wasn't the initial plan at 9 because he probably wasn't there when they mocked it up a couple times. And Winston should be able to come in and contribute right away, like Cardell mentioned a little bit earlier. He can then play defense. It's about doing it and wanting to, and it behooves him minutes-wise. Because if John can't play back-to-backs, if you can take care of business on that end, who knows? You might be able to earn you some more minutes on the nights that John's not there. And Denny is – I'm going to let Cardell talk about Denny. Go ahead, Cardell.
Well, for what the Wizards did in the draft, I got to give him an A because I think Denny's a dog. If you watch his film overseas, you saw at the beginning of the show how he said his father and him couldn't work out together growing up because they're too competitive. The Wizards need that. They need that more. Mm-hmm. So if you watch his tapes overseas, and it's not like he's playing against a cupcake league overseas. He's playing with Maccabi in EuroLeague, and for people that don't know, EuroLeague is literally the second best pro league in the world behind the NBA, better than the G League. So he's been playing in that league since he was 16. So he's battle tested. So the pro game won't really bother him. And if you remember what Lucas said, it's harder to score and make plays overseas than it is in the NBA because it's more physical. You know what I mean? You guys can get up in you. So like Wilson said, he's a steal going so late. They needed a wing. I'm not sure if they're sold on Troy Brown. And this will be good. Him and Troy Brown go battle it out for the 3. And we'll see what happens. But him being 6'9", he's not even just limited at the 3. And with his skill set, he can play the 2, 3, and 4. So he fits a lot of glaring needs, and you can play him with different lineups. So that's what Denny brings. And Cashy Winston always been a dog. I loved him since the high school on the EYBL days. I think he's ready to play. You know what I mean? He's just a seasoned point guard that's ready to play. I mean, 4 years for Izzo. And if you look at Izzo's track record with players in the NBA, when has a player not really panned out for him? So, I love what they did in the draft.
All right, finish it up with you, Ray.
Yeah, man, I gave them an A. I love what they did with both of their picks. They got 2 guys that are ready to contribute immediately. So that's always a plus, especially for a team in their position. It's just looking to get better and improve in pretty much every facet. I was kind of looking forward to them having a chance to get Okongwu, but he was snatched up early, and Denny was a steal at 9, so can't complain about that at all. They got an A from me.
All right. Well, Octavia, thank you so much. Want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We went through a lot tonight, so we thank you very much. We got a lot planned for you guys. College basketball starting literally this week. So follow us on social. We got some things up our speed as far as that goes. Again, that's the focus. Get over to finestmag.com, mymodelsports.com. And just a quick reminder, get over to DCTV. as well. Friday nights, 10 p.m., our show airs. Get over to their website. Not too hard to find. We're all stuck in the house. Y'all know how to use Google. Get over there and then check the alternate times, the equal times that our show does in fact air. Special thanks to Rodney for tonight. Been a lot. We've sent so much content to you. I know you're sick of us. But again, thank you all for watching. See you guys very, very soon. It's been the Focus TV. And when we close out, enjoy these last couple videos from real quickly. And Cassius Winston finish off this draft day theme we have here.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Cardell?
Same to you. What's going on, Cassius? My question for you is, we all know what you could do offensively. Dangerous out the pick and roll. You can shoot, facilitate. But how can you help the Wizards defensively? Because it's no secret that that the Wizards struggle defensively to get stops on the perimeter.
Just going out there being solid. You know what I'm saying? Trusting my scouting reports, trusting getting better each and every day, talking to each other, talking to my teammates, figuring out the system, the defensive system. Just something you got to want to do, and something that's necessary to get dubs, to get wins, and that's what I'm trying to do. So whatever it takes to win, I'm gonna make sure I go out there and do it.
Appreciate it.
Glenn Contour.
Hey, Cassius, welcome. Cassius, what have some of the experienced NBA players who you know and maybe have worked out with, what advice have they given you on your game, and what do you have to improve on, and things you got to work on that you want to work on, that you want to get better at the next level?
Definitely. I would say the biggest advice has been just physically. You know what I mean? Like physically getting stronger to that point, conditioning, being able to outlast people, being able to work harder than people for a longer amount of times, and continuing my skill. You know what I mean? Like what I do, I'm good at it. I'm good at passing. I'm good at making plays. I can shoot the ball. Just keep working on those things. Keep improving those things, because, that's what the people see in you. That's what people like you. Make sure you try to perfect those things as much as possible. On the other end, if you keep improving your body, keep improving your strength, like those are the things that are only going to help you.
And, one of the big things that all young players have to adjust to is the pace, the strength, the athleticism, and the speed of the game. How have you been trying to make that adjustment?
Just the intensity level, you know what I'm saying? How you working out, how you pushing yourself, the reps you going, conditioning, just being able to go out there and no matter what's thrown at you, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have some way to figure it out. And then just trusting yourself, you know what I mean? Like you just you believe that I got 100% faith that once I see it, once I adjust to it, then I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna always trust that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When
moving to DC, Cass.
Thank you.
It's no secret you're a great point guard. You're coming in behind a team that already has two extremely established veteran point guard presences in John Wall and Ish Smith. What do you look to gain from those guys at that position in terms of, just knowledge of basketball and skills? And also, what are your impression of those guys before you even came here? Like when you found out you were being drafted by Washington and you got to be beside some really talented pieces, what did you immediately think?
I'm going to try to learn as much as possible. These guys have been in it, been through it, still in it, you know what I'm saying, and been successful. So I'm going in there, I'm trying to soak up as much as I can because I want to be in that situation too. Try to learn as much as I can from those guys and make that happen. And it's crazy. Like I said, I remember Ish Smith was on Detroit, John Wall, you know what I'm saying? I've been watching John Wall since forever, you know what I mean? So, like, just being out there, actually going out there on the floor with some guys that I've watched on the big screen, that I looked up to, that I've seen play, make things happen, and just being able to go in there and learn as much as I can so that, when it's my turn, I'll make sure I take full advantage of it.
Appreciate you, Cass.
Yeah.
Ben?
Hey, Cassius, welcome to DC. Before you were drafted, Magic Johnson called you one of the best leaders in the draft class. I'm curious, is there any players that you modeled your game after while you were in college?
While I was in college? Yeah, I would say it's a lot of if somebody do something good and I like it, I try to pick from it. Chris Paul, watch a lot of Chris Paul. Just pace through ball screens, get to a sweet spots in the mid range. Damian Lillard, watch a lot of Damian Lillard shooting off the screen, getting step backs, quick releases, stuff like that. Kemba Walker, how he creates space. Like if it's something you do and I like it, I'm gonna try to steal it, and ain't no shame in that.
Hey, how's it going? I just was wondering how you see yourself fitting into this Knicks team. They obviously have some young point guards, Dennis Smith, Frank Ntilikina. What kind of conversations did you have with the Knicks so far about how you fit in?
I think first it starts off, as a person. They're trying to build an organization where, the character side is just as good as the player side. As far as my play, I feel like I fit in great, can play on or off the ball. I feel like I bring shooting immediately. That's something that I've worked on, and just being able to, be a great teammate as well. Trying to learn from older guys, the vets, just coming in and being that, open-minded person that, is willing to learn, willing to get better each and every day.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Stephen Popper. Go ahead, Stephen. Stephen, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, congratulations. Just want to see, Coach Cal was talking earlier about the path that you took, not being a starter the first couple of games, splitting time. Just kind of what that did for you, kind of the 2 years at Kentucky, the path you took.
Yeah, I think, it gives me an advantage as far as, not having immediate success. I think that's a culture shock, when they get to college, it's easy. And then they get to NBA and it's hard a little bit. And they're not able to deal with adversity. But I feel like for me, I was able to do that and get through that at Kentucky. So I feel like, I can accomplish anything, that comes my way.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mike Borkanoff, you have the next question, please. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Emmanuel. Congrats, first of all, on getting selected.
Thank you.
Just had a question. I mean, how do you think your game will translate immediately to the NBA level? And just do you see yourself more as an on-the-ball guard or an off-ball guard in the league?
First of all, defensively, I feel like I'm somebody who can guard ones and twos. I feel like, at Kentucky, I became one of the better defenders. Was guarding point guards, wings, threes, sometimes even fours if the four was like a perimeter player. So defensively, I feel like, I'm really versatile. And then offensively, I feel like I was originally a point guard, but then at Kentucky, I kind of, changed my game to where I could do both. And I feel like a lot of people forgot that I was a point guard all my life, was a McDonald's All-American and things like that. So, I feel like I can do either one, really well. And then shooting, obviously, is something that is one of my strengths. And I feel like I'll be able to do that well in the league.
Thank you.
Paul Casanova, you have the next question.
Congratulations on getting drafted, first off. And how do you see yourself? First off, was New York a place that you really wanted to go to? It seemed like that was a place that really got happy when you heard that name, Knicks.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody was celebrating, not only for myself. I was happy to be a Knick. My family was happy. It's close to home for me. So, and then obviously the connection with the guys in New York, Coach Kenny Payne, all those guys, and I'm just really grateful for this opportunity, ready to get started, and just really ready to get to work.
Also, what part of your game do you think you really have to work on before the NBA season starts?
I feel like you can never be a complete player. So really just working on all facets of my game. Really just getting stronger, I think, is going to be a big one. Finishing around the rim. Guys are way more athletic, and everybody's athletic in the NBA. So I think those two things will definitely be a big, adjustment for me.
Thank you.